Arkansas voters have two other ballot issues to consider next month. 5 News reporter ALLIE LYNCH joining us live now to talk about issues 2 and 3. ALLIE?
Well, Darren, with the first day of early voting underway, those who participated saw 3 proposed constitutional amendments to vote on. Tonight, we break down 2 of them for you. Issue number 2 involves changing General Assembly term limits and allowing re-election upon a break in service, which means it would alter Arkansas's term limits law by eliminating the lifetime ban after 16 years. It would allow state lawmakers to serve 12 years, wait 4 years, and then have the ability to serve another 12 years. Those opposed to the amendment, like Tom Steele, the chairman for Arkansas Term Limits, say the current term limits prevent career politicians in office.
The founders didn't envision professional politicians in the legislature. They envisioned citizen legislators. You come in, you stay for a while, to do the job, you go home and you go back to your farms or wherever you're from.
On the other hand, Issue 3 reforms a number of processes in the ballot initiative process, including how petitions are conducted. For one thing, Issue 3 would change language in the state constitution by moving the deadline to submit petition signatures to January of an election year. Right now, it's July of that year.
And the whole reason to set the filing deadline on January 15 and a lawsuit deadline on April 15 and eliminate the 30-day cure period was to allow the lawsuits to proceed in normal manner and get to the Supreme Court in late May, early June, and get decisions before millions have been spent on campaigns.
Supporters like Kenneth Hall, the executive vice president of the Arkansas State Chamber of Commerce, says legal challenges would all be resolved earlier in the year, leading to less confusion as the vote approaches. Canvassers will need signatures from 45 of the state's 70 counties instead of just 15, and the chance to get more signatures in a cure period after the deadline goes away. If this passes, lawmakers would then have to get a 60% vote.
It's not a huge increase, but when you've got usually about 20 issues in the House and 20 more in the Senate competing for those 3 spots, this could very well have a very large impact on what gets referred.
Opponents say Issue 3 would make things much more difficult for the public to get a petition on the ballot and threaten to take away a check the public has on lawmakers. Covering news where you live, ALLIE LYNCH, 5 News.
Issue 3 would also remove the requirement that legal notices of ballot questions run in local newspapers up to an election.